are excited to have another great morning this morning with the A.C.T call, Advanced Customer Training call. So, boy, this is Cheryl Good coming out of actually Salem, Oregon this morning. Mrs. Yeager has graciously opened her home as I'm going on to meeting shortly thereafter, and it's fun to combine forces here in Salem. So again, what are we up to? We are up to gathering customers. We're a customer acquisition company. We get to do it anywhere in 25 countries in the world. Yesterday, we launched Mexico, and we're able to get customers in Mexico. That was so exciting. One of my first calls yesterday was from a team member in Mexico who called me on his flash mobile phone. That was really exciting. He's excited to have unlimited calling to United States and Canada. And that's really excellent. That's Mr. Colin Ellingson down there. He's on the forefront telling us what's going on down there, kind of seeing what's going out there in the world. So it's really, really exciting. For those of you that are catching up with what's going on in Mexico, there's actually a lot of good information being posted on our web page, which is Team Freedom System. And we also have another group called Community of ACN that you're welcome to. We're posting some information on there. And of course, the Flash Mobile websites and Flash Mobile Facebook groups are great places to find out what's going on as well. And emails are being blasted out. So lots of great stuff. I'll just leave it at that because I was actually just really super excited yesterday, printing out great handouts and seeing what's really going on in Mexico. So today we actually have, I'm really excited to introduce our guest speaker. She's coming to us from Northern California, and some of you have met her before. She's been on our calls before, but this woman is an incredible woman of heart, of caring about people, of business acumen. Oh my goodness. And as a leader in our company, she has over 200 customer points herself. And so you get that she knows a little bit about customers. And so in that, she was able to do a training in front of hundreds of people just a couple weekends ago. And she blew the socks out of everyone that she was presenting to. There were so many people that we heard from later saying, oh my goodness, this woman knows her stuff about customers, and people are having breakthroughs on getting lots and lots of customers. So without much more fanfare here, I want to introduce to you a friend, a colleague, somebody who I've gotten to know in this business, top producing executive team leader, Mrs. Kim Edwards. Can you hear me? Are you there?
Yes, I can. How's my sound?
Okay, perfect. Yes, we are going to do a little switcheroo here, and then you are good to go.
Awesome. Am I on live now? Oh my goodness. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you so much, Mrs. Good, for that introduction. I'm so excited too to be on the call. You know, what's cool, guys, is our team has become known all over the country for a customer getting team. So we have raised the bar in the last year and a half or so. There have been a bunch of us, you know, it's because of calls like this and focus like this that we've had to really get down, get into the customers, get the details, and get excited about customers, raise not just our own customer count, but everybody in the organization. So it's been a blast. I'm honored. I'm one of a bunch of you on this call that love customers, love learning about customers, love helping customers. So I'm excited, I'm honored, and I'm humbled just to share a few fun things that I have put together. What's happened in the quick background behind this, as Mrs. Good shared, is I've had the privilege of being asked from a couple teams around the country just to share what it is that's, you know, how have we been able to get so many customer points? And so I thought a lot about it, and I put this little presentation together. So with this fun technology, I get to actually attempt this very moment to share my screen. We will make this work. Okay, so I'm going to share a couple of slides. Mrs. Good, you can text me. There, it looks like it's going. Okay, So here's what I did. I put together a couple thoughts. And guys, what we start with almost every week in our trainings, in our bombs, in our quick starts, we go through a quick overview of a couple of things that we do. Like, where do we get our customers? Okay, so you've seen these first few slides. Yourself, I want to just touch on a few points, because if you're not fully getting everything in your house that you can through our company, you need to rethink that. So what I'm going to do today is just share a little bit about the mindset behind getting customers. We talk about the mindset in the business, and that's critical and important. There's also some extra things I've found that are important for the mindset and focus of getting customers. So number one, if you don't have everything in your house that's possible to get through our company, I suggest you do it. I suggest it even if there's cancellation fees, and here's why. I'm not trying to say to be financially irresponsible, but for us, when we first started, we had a couple of cell phones with cancellation fees. We were on contract. We did cancel those. We immediately brought those over. We did save our monthly bill. We cut it in half, but more importantly than that, guys, you're building a future residual income stream for yourself. And you can't do it by supporting someone else, by supporting a competitor. So I say this every time, because if we didn't spend a few $100s it was to cancel our cell phones, we wouldn't have been able to create the residual income stream that we have by having over 200 customer points. We wouldn't have been able to hit all the bonuses we hit. We hit bonus almost every month for a while. We got our quick start bonus, of course, but it's more than that, guys. We also got, some of you know this story, we have 3 free cell phones through Strive for 5. We have free home phone and internet. We have free natural gas on one position. We have Power Your Wallet on the other position. We had the first year, we had a Vivint promotion that was almost $2,000 in free monthly charges. So our first year, we saved over $6,280, which we wouldn't have been able to do if we didn't pay those first few cancellation fees. So I share that with you again, just to make sure you understand how critical it is. If you want to build this and you want to get customers, you have to have everything that's possible in your own home. Okay, so you know the other thing too is prospects, people who aren't becoming IBOs, and warm market. Okay, you've heard this as well, survey approach and charity approach. Personally, for me, the survey approach is what I chose. I don't go after people saying, hey, you want to feed kids, let's get you a phone. I go after people saying, hey, let me evaluate what you're paying. Let me see if I can offer you an alternative that's equal or better for the same or better price. I do it by surveys, and when I started, we didn't even have the electronic survey. So I would say use your judgment with your customers. Are they someone who's going to appreciate a phone call where you can ask them what they're paying? Would they want to fill out a paper, or would they prefer an online approach? Doesn't matter. The goal is you want to get the information of what they're paying so you can evaluate it against what we have. Simple, effective. You can go back quickly and share with them what we have that would make good sense for them. I'm trying to educate customers making good buying choices. That's kind of my approach. Let me see what you're paying. Let me audit your bills, and let me see if I can provide you an alternative that gives you a better, equal or better service for equal or better price that allows you to support my family instead of someone you may not know behind the Verizon counter or behind the Dish TV counter. Okay, so again, this is a quick review. We always, always, always start with favor, help, try. And you're gonna, you hear story after story. Here's mine. I did not try this at first. I went after savings. I went to my dad in Indiana. I said, Dad, I can save you so much money. We're gonna change this, this, and this. After an hour of my first phone call, my husband and I looked at each other, and my dad told us why it was never work, why he didn't want to touch his channels, why there's no way to even think about this. And we hung up thinking, how in the world are we going to do this if we can't get our dad? Went to a training. We did that all before training. Went to a training, heard the favor, help, try it. Now, guys, it was hard for me as a pastor. I'm a homeschool mom and a pastor. I have always been in the position of giving favors, of helping, of supporting and counseling. It was hard for me to humble myself and say, no, I need to go to people and ask for help. And so I just encourage you again, this isn't just an empty slide. There's lots of power behind this. The key thing is that if you like helping people so much like I did, you have to understand people will like to help you just as much as you like to help them. So I went back to my dad. I went back and started approaching people with this. I said, guys, look, here's the deal. My husband and I have been struggling financially. The animation industry is crumbling like many other industries. It looks great on the outside, but the truth is that companies are going overseas. Jobs are being cut in half. People out of college are willing to work longer and harder for less money. It's super competitive. The economics are changing. Technology is changing. Nothing is like what we thought. And so we've needed a plan B. We've found one. I'm really asking your help. All I need to do is check out what you're paying, see if there's anything in your household that would make sense to route through the companies we've partnered with so that you can make a great choice as a consumer, but you can allow your choice to help our family to build an income stream. So would you do me a huge favor? Would you let me do that? You can say favor, you can say it would be a great help to me, things like that. When I went back to my dad, obviously I did, I really messed up on that. I didn't tell you what's really behind why we're doing this. So I told him and he was like, why didn't you say that? And of course I got the 12 points from his household. So I really just, again, I can't talk about getting customers without talking about the why. And here's what I find. So there's so much more to getting customers than just what's above the waterline. The question I get asked the most is, how did you get all these customer points? Like, how'd you do it, Kim? How'd you do it? And the truth is, it has nothing to do with how. It has everything to do with why. And so I shared a little bit of our story. Some of you know that those parts that while we were thinking animation was a very strong, stable industry, it was my husband's dream job for many years. As I shared, things are changing. Economics change. Insurance for your family changes. And the other thing that happened with our family is we had some surprise medical expenses. And so for years, we had been looking at other ways to make income, but I'm with my kids homeschooling every day and I run a ministry. And so I wanted to be able to maintain those things if at all possible and not go back into the workforce, as that was just our choice for our family. So we were motivated. We had some severe debt and we had some expenses that were coming into our household every month in the form of medical bills that were putting us further and further behind. So when I started with ACN, I was looking at how obvious and simple and logical it was to offer customers a choice to make a better decision about what they buy and spend in their house, especially with our company with things they're already spending and paying. So for me, I was super motivated. It all starts with why you want to do this. And I just needed, when we first started, we just needed a few $100s, about $500 more to cover. My son has about 14 prescriptions we manage every month, and that was about $500 worth on our copay that was putting us further and further and further behind. So guys, the $6,000 that we saved that first year, that's $523 a month that we brought back into our household on the savings alone. Wasn't even the income, it wasn't the bonuses, it wasn't the residual, it was only on the savings. So when I saw that, you've heard this before, your why has many layers to it. That was the first one. I got to check that off our list and I got to start thinking bigger and thinking about how are we going to bring my husband home? How are we going to change the entire way we look at money and income? And so our why has grown and so has our desire to get customers and to build a team. So again, I want to just share a few highlights. One thing I remember thinking when I was at about 20 points, we got 20 points our first month because that was $1,000. We did that our first month. Then I remember thinking, how in the world am I ever going to get to 60? It just felt so big. It felt so big. And I heard Mr. Aaron Burt say at a national convention, he said, you know, before I was SVP, I wasn't. And I thought that was just so like profound to me. It was like, before I had 60, I didn't, you know, before I had 100 or 200, I didn't. And so guys, I just want to encourage you. I remember thinking though, I want to get 100 points. And I thought I was nuts because not too many people were talking about this. This was about 2 years ago. But I remember thinking, I can do it. I can do it. We can do this. And we had a vision and we said, look, let's at least start. And before we did, we didn't. Here's another thought just to encourage you with. There's two different types of people as it approaches customers. There's people who love the research and want to know every detail about every service. And then there's people who want nothing to do with it. They are just fine to wing it, totally wing it. Now, I encourage you, and it's interesting because my husband and I are both very different. My husband loves the research part. I'm just the opposite. So I'm not saying one is better than the other. What I'm saying is you should not be extreme in one area. If you are the person who needs all your answers and researched, and you want a PhD in energy before you talk about therms, I would encourage you to move away from that position and to risk a little bit and trust a 24-year-old company that's an A+ on the Better Business Bureau that has millions of customers. Trust that there's something going on there that you don't need to research every single piece before you actually sign up a customer. And likewise, if you're on the flip side where you wing everything and you don't really, want to know the detail, I encourage you to move a little bit toward you should probably have a little knowledge, not everything, but enough to be professional and to answer questions that are obvious questions that customers would ask. So I encourage you not to staunchly stay in your corner and say, I'm a research person, I need this, it's just the way I think. Or on the flip side, yeah, I don't care, I don't need to know anything. I would encourage you to look at both sides and to at least move forward. Now with that, you're gonna have to get to a point where you just have to do it. You have to go. I remember my first flash phone, it was mine, but I remember thinking, I just hope this works. I hope this works. I've never done this before. I've never actually had the power to take a phone number from a big company and put it back, through a device on my own company. It was a bizarre thought to me, but I remember thinking, I just hope this works. I just hope this works. And then I remember the first one I did for a customer, and I was even more nervous because I was just like, I hope this works. I hope this works. I remember that. You have to get through that fear. And the cool thing is, guys, we have a team of people that you're working with. So even if you're doing this by yourself, you can lean on the confidence of the millions of customers who've gone before you, or the people in your team who've gone before you. Guarantee you they have a flash phone that works. Okay, so you can just know you have your training wheels are your team, your training wheels are the back office videos, your training wheels are the millions of customers and the A+ rating on the Better Business Bureau. Just know there's support. You do have to get over your fear and go into it. One of the other key things I did as I was marching my way to first 60 and then 100 and then 200 was, I remember when I first started, I didn't have a whole lot of time. I was overwhelmed with a lot going on in our lives. I remember blocking off the time, and here's what I did. I did 3 hours on Tuesday morning from 9 to 12, and I hired a babysitter to be with my kids. And I did Sunday afternoons for 3 hours in the afternoon where my husband was with the kids. And that was all I did when I first started, 6 hours a week. And I tell you one thing, when I paid somebody to come be with my kids, I realized I went into my office and I closed the door and I did work. I was so intentional because I was like, it was costing me. And I realized I got very effective very quickly, and I would make survey call after survey call. I didn't evaluate the surveys until later at night when everybody was asleep. But I remember being very intentional about blocking the time, setting goals, and getting the work done. So I encourage you too. We do a lot of things. We go to events, we recruit a team, we show the business. We have to be intentional with our customer time and with our survey evaluation time, and follow back up with your customers to get those customers in. Another thing I found over the months as I was doing it is I would find as I would use the favor, help, try language, people would want to help me. They would be so excited to help, but it would go month after month and the customer wouldn't get in. I don't know if any of you have ever experienced that, but I was experiencing that. People would be so excited, very gracious, want to help, and another month would go by and something else would happen and it just wouldn't get in. And I remember, again, it was an international training. I heard this. And so what I changed in my language was, look, Art, I know you want to help us. We've talked about this for months, and I know this isn't a great priority for you, but I just want to ask you again, if we could sign in your service. I know we've done all the numbers, it looks good, and you want the alarm system. It would be a huge help to me if we can do it by Sunday at 2. And it only will take about 10, 15 minutes on the phone together. I'll make the phone call, dial you in. I just need a few minutes, but it would be a huge help if we can get this done by Thursday at 5, whatever it was. Put a day and a time on it. Tell them what you expect, 10, 15 minutes on a phone call. It'll be a 3-way call. We'll get it done, and then I'll walk you through the transition. I know it's not your priority, but it would be a huge help to me. Thank you so much for being willing to help us. And try to close it with, again, you don't want to be desperate, but you want to be urgent. So including them in your deadline and why it's important to you. If there's a bonus like an iPad or something, that always helps. But even if there isn't, that calm urgency where you say, if we could do this by this time, it would sure help me. Started to see customers log in a bunch at that point. One other thing I heard, this was also wisdom from Senior Vice President Leanne Gabriel at an international. She said, go get your 60 points, 10 points at a time. And I was like, oh, I can do that. I can manage that. It was just so much more. It's, you know, you eat the elephant one bite at a time. You don't actually get 100 at one point, at one, you know, week. You get them 10 at a time. So I would go every week. My goal was every time I showed up at a Saturday training, I wanted to have 10 more points. And it just helps to manage your expectations. The other thing I found was to simplify it first. Instead of learning every single service and being an expert at every single offering we have quite a few, especially if you include the business services. It's overwhelming. And I didn't know a thing about any of these services, guys. I didn't know anything about wireless TV, internet, nothing. I just knew I wanted those things to work when I pressed on. So I felt overwhelmed at first, and then I pulled back and I simplified, and I just focused. My first two were Flash and Zoom Energy. And then once you get a few of those under your belt, like, you know, at first it took me forever to get a Zoom customer. And like my husband would listen, and I would be calling. It'd be like an hour and 10 minutes. They would ask me every question. I'd try to answer everything. Now, guys, I can do Zoom in like 3 minutes while I'm driving on speakerphone. I can say, press the screen, then do this, then enter this. Here's that number, then put that. And it's so like, just simplify. Just focus on one or two instead of trying to be everything to every service. And guys, remember, we have a 1,800 person customer service, exceptional customer service division in North Carolina, ready to help us at any moment. So we don't need to know every single detail of every single service. We just need to know enough to get the customer interested to begin to place the order. Now with Flash, it's a little different. We do have, we can take that one all the way through. With Dish, Direct, with Vivint, we make a call to an expert who's going to actually close the sale. But it's still, even if we get stuck with Flash, guys, we have customer service who can help us. So just realize, simplify, make it easy, make it fun. A couple of other mindset tips that I've learned. So here's the deal, guys. We're in the services industry. Before I ever heard of ACN, I had trouble with my internet every so often. Before I ever heard of ACN, I had trouble with my cell phone every so often. Before I ever heard of ACN, every once in a while, we had an issue with the phone. Okay, so it's a services business. Things happen. Things go down. There's customer service for a reason. There's people who come out and fix things. Okay, so we're in that business. It isn't just, it's not going to be perfect. There will be problems. There will be things that we need to overcome and help our customers through. Here's the answer to everything when your customer calls or when they text you or email. Here's the answer. No problem. We'll get that fixed. No problem, I'll help you. No problem, let me get someone who can help us. It's always no problem. Everything can be fixed. So just have that attitude. Whatever challenges there are, what we do, what I try to do, I picture this, guys, when my customers call with what they perceive as a problem, which many times, by the way, is their perception, not the truth, or it's their truth, it's not reality. I always feel myself like I get into this posture where I'm like a buffer. Like as a boxer, you know, if you are ready for a punch, you won't get hit. If you're not ready, you can oftentimes just be knocked out. So I always get this stance where I go, okay, so I'm going to diffuse all of the fear, negativity, and frustration that they're throwing at me right now. It's not me. It's just because they're frustrated. And I'm going to absorb, I'm going to diffuse that. I don't absorb it, I diffuse it. So it doesn't hit me and it doesn't go back at them. So don't get defensive and don't try to solve everything right away. Just diffuse it all. No problem. You know what? These things happen. I'll be happy to help you. James Adlam, Senior Vice President James Adlam says the one who solves the most problems makes the most money. So whatever it is, it can be solved. Just encourage you to make sure you get the right people. Have the mindset, though, that whatever problem it is, we will get it solved. Okay, this is a biggie. This is what I see blow many, many brand new baby IBOs out. and even seasoned of us. So here's what this is. People come in, they sign up as an IBO thinking, okay, great, I'm gonna get 10 points from my dad. I'm gonna get this business. My uncle has a business. I'm gonna get his merchant services and his energy and his phone. That's gonna be 20 points. I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna get that. And they kind of are going through who they're gonna get, okay? Who they're gonna, or somebody's gonna join my team because of this, because then they're gonna put this under there. I'm gonna get 10 Anovia accounts and get to 60 in my first day. You know, all these things, they have these thoughts or expectations. And then when they go make those calls, they find out that Anovia customer was on a contract and it didn't make financial sense, or the energy was not able to come over because it was in a tiny little subdivision that had its own energy provider and did whatever. I mean, like whatever could have happened. Something didn't go as planned in their expectations, and they flip out and think, oh, it'll never work. See, it'll never work. And they go into this place of negativity. And I think it's good to have goals and expectations, but I would temper your expectations to be a blueprint, but one that is in pencil that we might have to change. Excuse me. Okay, so here's another attitude adjustment. I hear this. Okay, I would like to get this. Yeah, but, or, oh, you know, yeah, I have that, but, or yeah, I would consider that, but, and it's all the problems. Again, it's a bit of a, just a mindset. I hear it with my kids a lot too. We just say, no, you're not allowed to say, yeah, but. So just lose it, guys. Just stop saying it. Don't look at what is possible instead of what isn't. It's always going to get you further. This is someone who didn't have any yeah buts. Okay, this is a post from Regional Vice President Platinum Adam Roop out of the East Coast. Look at the start date of these three people. For those of you on the phone, I'm showing a slide that has 3 lines from a back office report. 3 different people started on the same day. Excuse me. 3 different people have 3 different point totals. One is has 8 points. This was 1 month posted after they started. It was February 26th start date. It was a month later. One IBO has 8 points. One IBO has 3 points, and one IBO has 77 points, all in the same month. Okay, so it's a mindset, guys. It's totally a mindset. If you believe you can do this and you set aside a time and you have the right attitude and you call people and approach them the right way, you will get your points. One other thing I learned, this was hugely helpful to me, is realizing there's an ebb and a flow to the whole process of getting customers. So if I look at a map of all the customers we got, there were times where I felt really, really stuck. Felt like I was at a plateau. Like maybe when I got to 30, it was like, man, I can't get to the 40. Like there was just a stuckness feeling. I don't know if anybody of you are feeling that, but I remember I had so many phone calls out to customers and so many people wanting to help and no points coming in week after week. And I felt like I was in this plateau. Like I kept saying, man, what is it going to take? Like I've got so many possibles. And I'd have my little map of going like, if I get this, then that. And it just felt like I was stuck. And here's what I'll tell you. Just keep going. Like Dory in Finding Nemo. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Just keep making your calls. I promise you they will come through. And what I found was if I just kept doing it, staying positive, I would even say to people, look, I am so not trying to pester you. And we've been trying to get this TV signed up. I know it's not your priority, but man, oh man, would it be such a huge help to me if we can do it by Friday. So I'm just going to keep calling you till you call me back. You know, I would make it fun, but don't get caught in the negativity. Don't get caught in what isn't or what's frustrating or not working. Just keep pushing through. And guys, I promise you, you will get to where there's a breakthrough and you go and like 10 points come in and 12 points come in and they all come in. It's just the way, at least for my business, that's what's happened. I feel stuck. I keep pushing. I push, and I stay with the right focus and mindset. And it goes through to where you see a bunch of things jump at one point. Okay. Last couple of thoughts, guys. I realized as I started out, I know all of us do. The best customer getters love to help people. We all do, loving to serve people. So if you have this attitude of how can you help and serve your customers, I do things like try to get on customer service calls for them. I go through the phone tree, I get a live rep, and then I pull them in. Saves them time, saves them frustration. I try to answer as many questions as I can that I know. As you get in this a while, you'll get some knowledge that you can share pretty quickly. But just having an attitude of, I even sign my emails and my texts. It's an honor to serve you, to my customers. Having them know that there's an advocate in me. They don't just have this old, cold, customer service. I hand them off to this 800 number in the sky that they're going to deal with. Like, they've always got me. I can help them with any problems. And so this attitude of serving is super helpful. I've had so many people comment. One guy even said, "Can I just pay you? Because it's such a pleasure to have you do this for me." I'm like, man, I got to figure out a model for that. Anyway, the other thing I've noticed, this goes along with serving and how you treat your customers, is it may seem old-fashioned, but I'm telling you what, a handwritten thank you note with a gift card every so often on a birthday or Christmas, or a note of thanks on the certificate for Project Feeding Kids. Thank you so much for helping our family and for feeding children when you pay your energy bill. It means a lot to us. Just a huge touch. I know we're in an electronic age. You can do it through text and email as well. It's just a very powerful thing when a physical, tangible note pops into someone's life to say thank you for something that they've done. So I do that with my customers. I do it a couple times a year where I write them a note or send them something sweet. This one too, when you're serving your customers, you're thinking about how to simplify and help their life, right? So I have a summary page I do for each customer. I call them actually clients. For each of my clients, I'll do a summary page when we're done. What they got. You can't really read these pages, but you can get the idea. I put their DirecTV, if they got it. I put the customer support number. I put their account number. I put their PIN. Put all of their information in one place so that they have what they've just done. Especially if I've done a whole household where we've got 4 or 5 services, I do it in one place so they have everything, all the customer service numbers, account numbers, and PINs. And then at the very bottom, this is a very powerful thing I do, I say cost comparison, and I show how much they were spending every month on all their services and how much they're now spending. And I show how much they're saving per month and per year. And then again, I have my contact information down at the bottom with a certificate from Project Feeding Kids. So guys, that's it. I just want to encourage you that if you treat your customers like this, if you honestly respect them and serve them and you appreciate what they do and you give them value, you'll get referrals. I'm now working with a referral that's what I call my 5th generation. It came from a woman I helped, everything in her home. She was a hairstylist. She put my cards on her station. I've had a referral come from that. That person gave me another referral. That person gave me another referral. And I'm now on the 5th person. I haven't met any of these people up till now. They were referrals. And I've done each of those 5 people. I did everything in their household, which is between 8 and 15 points for each of those people. So I just encourage you that referrals will start to come. There's a point at which it starts to take over and people will start to call you. And that's just awesome. So guys, that's it. I also just want to leave you with this. Like, look, it's really great to have a couple hundred customer points. That's awesome. The company is all about customers. At the same time, guys, this is really about inspiring an army of freedom fighters, an army of people who want to go change their lives and change their family's future and change the people they interact with and build an inspiration for not just themselves, but for other people. And by helping people make smart customer choices with the offerings that we have, building an income and building a future for people is incredible. So I just want to encourage you guys, you can do this. That's all I have with my pretty slides. I didn't know anything about this business. I've never done direct sales or network marketing. I never knew anything about these services, these products. And if I can do it, you can do it. I also want to let you know too, you do not need to run around town or around the country to do this. I did most of my customer points over the phone. So I've got flash customers all over the country. I've got lots of services all over the country, and I've got local, but I'm with my kids through the days, guys. So I encourage you, it can be a part-time, spare time business. You can do this if you're intentional with your time. and you understand what's behind getting customers. So guys, that's it for me. Thank you so much, Mrs. Good, for having me on. It's been a pleasure, and I am happy to have you take the controls back, unless you had any questions.
Oh my goodness, that is so exciting. I'm just going to switch you back here. Thank you so much, Mrs. Edwards. There is nothing else I need to add to that. You've covered the mindset of customer acquisition amazing. I encourage our team to do exactly what she said. You're welcome to get onto the YouTube link of this for those of you that were on the phone call. That will be posted again on Team Freedom System Facebook page and also in the community of ACN. And there's a recorded link as well, so you can listen to it again and again. Oh my goodness, this is so great. So thank you so much, Mrs. Edwards. Everyone, go have a great day.